Welcome to the mysterious world of the King Cobra, a creature of awe and fear, and the undisputed monarch of venomous snakes. This magnificent reptile, scientifically known as Ophiophagus hana, holds the title for the longest venomous snake on Earth. It is capable of reaching lengths of up to 18 feet. Its striking appearance is as formidable as its reputation. The King Cobra typically boasts an olive green, brown, or black body, often adorned with faint, pale bands. Its most iconic feature is the impressive hood, which it flares out when threatened, a clear warning to any potential predator. These snakes are not just large, they are also incredibly intelligent, displaying complex behaviors rarely seen in other reptiles. Native to the dense forests of Southeast Asia, the King Cobra thrives in a variety of habitats. From rainforests to mangrove swamps, it prefers areas with thick vegetation, providing ample cover for hunting and resting. Despite its fearsome image, the King Cobra is a solitary animal, preferring to avoid human contact whenever possible. What truly sets the King Cobra apart is its unique diet. It is an Ophiophagus species, meaning its primary food source is other snakes. This includes venomous ones. With its keen eyesight and sense of smell, it stalks its prey with precision. It delivers a potent bite that quickly incapacitates its victim. The venom of the King Cobra is a powerful neurotoxin. It is capable of paralyzing the respiratory system and causing cardiac arrest. A single bite can deliver enough venom to kill an elephant or 20 humans. When confronted, it will rear up, spread its hood, and emit a distinctive hiss, a chilling sound that serves as a final warning before it strikes. Unlike most snakes, the female King Cobra is a devoted parent. She constructs a two-chambered nest of leaves and debris, where she lays her eggs. She then guards the nest fiercely until the hatchlings emerge, a rare display of maternal care in the reptilian world. Despite its dominance, the King Cobra faces significant threats, primarily habitat loss due to deforestation and human encroachment. Conservation efforts are crucial to protect this iconic species and its vital role in maintaining the balance of its ecosystem. The King Cobra is more than just a snake. It is a symbol of the wild, a testament to nature's raw power and beauty.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about one of the most feared and respected reptiles on the planet, the King Cobra. We're going to break down what makes this creature so unique, so powerful, and, believe it or not, so vulnerable.
So, let's get right into it. What makes a snake a king? You'd probably think it's all about size, right? Or maybe how potent its venom is. But the real reason is, well, it's way more fascinating and honestly a lot more hardcore. I mean, don't get me wrong, being the world's longest venomous snake definitely adds to the whole intimidating vibe. But that's not the real reason for the title. The answer is something much more primal, something written right into its biology. And here it is. The name says it all. Ophagus is Greek for snake eater. That's right. The king gets its crown because its main diet is other snakes. We're talking vipers, pythons, even other cobras. It is literally the king of the snake world because it eats its competition. Okay, so now that we've established its royal status, get ready for a major plot twist. Despite the name, despite that famous hood, the King Cobra isn't actually a true cobra. Wild, right? So if you look at its scientific classification, you start to see the story unfold. Yeah, it's in the same family as other cobras, the Elapidae family. But the real giveaway, the clue that sets it apart, is its genus name. And here's that key distinction. The King Cobra is all alone in its genus Ophiophagus. It's the one and only member. All the true cobras you might think of, they're in the genus Naja. So what does that mean? It means the king isn't just another cobra, it's in a league of its own, on a totally separate evolutionary branch.
All right, so let's get into the anatomy of power. What exactly is in this apex predator's toolkit that makes it so, well,
so formidable? It really all comes down to a few incredible, highly specialized features. First off, just the sheer scale of this thing. The record holder was 5.85 meters long. That's over 19 feet. To put that in perspective, that's longer than your average car. That size alone gives it a massive, massive advantage. And here's where that incredible length gets really intimidating. It can raise a full 1/3 of its body straight up off the ground. That means it can literally stand up and look a 6-foot-tall person directly in the eye. Can you imagine? That's a defensive power move that no other snake can pull off. So let's talk about its arsenal. You've got that famous hood, which can flare out to a whopping 25 centimeters wide as a clear back-off sign. And even though it's huge, it's not bulky. It's all sleek muscle, built for speed. And its eyesight, absolutely phenomenal. It can spot moving prey from 100 meters away. That's the length of a football field. And it doesn't just use its eyes to hunt, it actually tastes the air. You see that forked tongue flicking in and out? It's collecting tiny scent particles. It then touches that tongue to a special organ in the roof of its mouth called the Jacobson's organ. This whole system lets its brain build a 3D scent map, allowing it to track its favorite meal, other snakes, with pinpoint accuracy. Okay, so we know what it is and what it can do, but where in the world does this king actually rule? Let's map out its domain, and let me tell you, its kingdom is huge and incredibly diverse. This snake has a massive kingdom, stretching all across South and Southeast Asia. We're talking everywhere from India and Pakistan, across to China, and all the way down through Indonesia and the Philippines. The fact that it can live in so many different places really speaks to just how adaptable it is. But even though it's super adaptable, it definitely has its favorite spots. It loves dense tropical rainforests, thickets of bamboo, and you'll almost always find it near some kind of water, whether that's a stream, a river, or a lake. It's actually a fantastic swimmer. But here's the thing. For all its power, for all its adaptability, this king's reign is under threat. And it's facing a danger that it can't stare down, that it can't outrun, and that it can't fight. The official status for the King Cobra is vulnerable, and the biggest reason why, the main threat, is us. It's habitat destruction. As we clear more and more forests for farms and cities, the king is, quite simply, running out of kingdom. And you have to remember, this isn't just any animal. This creature is woven deep into the culture of so many places. For thousands of years, it's been seen as a symbol of power, of gods, of danger. So when we talk about it being threatened, it's not just an ecological problem, it's a cultural loss too. So that really leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? This sovereign has ruled its kingdom for millennia. It's a master of its own world, an apex predator at the top of its game. But the question is, can it survive in our world? Is there any room left for a king like this in the world we're building? Okay, when I say King Cobra, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably fear, right? Danger, a legendary killer. But what if I told you that behind that fearsome reputation is a creature of just incredible scientific precision? Today, we're not looking at a monster. We're looking at a masterpiece of evolution. So let's kind of peel back that scary layer and get right to the science. You know, the whole secret to this snake is hiding in plain sight. Right there in its name. Its scientific name is Ophiophagus hannah. And that first part, Ophiophagus, well, that's just Greek for snake eater. And this isn't some clever nickname. This is the absolute core of what this animal is. It's a king that literally preys on other snakes. All right, so if you're going to call yourself the king of snakes, you better have the gear to back it up, right? And the King Cobra's venom delivery system, wow, it is a marvel of biological engineering. Let's break down the tools it uses to hunt and, of course, to defend itself. So check this out, because this is super interesting. You might think of a viper's fangs, right? They're like these long switchblades that fold back into the mouth. The King Cobra? Totally different. It has shorter, fixed fangs that are always erect. Now that might sound like a downgrade, but it's not. It gives the snake much more control, allowing for a really quick, precise bite. It doesn't need to stab deep. It just needs to make contact and deliver its devastating payload. And that payload we mentioned, oh man, it's not just one simple poison. It's a complex chemical cocktail, like a weapon with multiple warheads. You've got neurotoxins that just shut down the nervous system. They basically unplug the brain from the muscles. Then you've got cytotoxins that start destroying tissue, and even cardiotoxins that go straight for the heart. It's a full-on, multi-pronged attack designed to neutralize a threat with terrifying speed. Okay, so how much venom are we talking about? 7 milliliters. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, right? It's a little more than a teaspoon. But in the world of venom, that is a huge amount. To put that into perspective for you, a single bite can carry enough venom to kill 20 adult humans. Or, and this is just mind-blowing, 1 full-grown elephant. With that much power, the effect on the body is incredibly fast. So, what we're going to do now is walk through the timeline of an untreated bite. And yeah, it's pretty chilling, but it's crucial to understand just how insanely effective this venom really is. The clock starts ticking the second the bite happens. Within just a few minutes, there's intense pain. Soon after, the neurotoxins get to work. Vision blurs, you feel dizzy. The first really visible sign of paralysis is often something called ptosis. The eyelids start to droop because the muscles can't hold them up. And from there, it's a systematic shutdown. The paralysis spreads down through the limbs until it hits the most critical muscles of all, the ones you use to breathe. And once that happens, without medical intervention, death is just inevitable. So after hearing all that, you're probably thinking, okay, so a bite is basically game over, right? Is it always a death sentence? Well, thankfully, the answer is no, if you have the right tools and you act incredibly fast. Here's the good news. There is an antivenom. The bad news? That clock we talked about is ticking, and it is ticking fast. It has to be given within the first couple of hours to really work, and because the snake injects so much venom, treatment requires huge amounts of antivenom. We're talking 10 or more vials sometimes. And get this, the snake can also deliver a dry bite, where it bites but doesn't inject any venom. It's basically a warning shot, telling you to back off. It really prefers not to waste its precious weapon. Okay, so why? Why develop this incredibly complex, high-volume weapon system? Well, it all comes back to one thing: food. Everything we've talked about, the fangs, the venom, it's all been perfected for the hunt. So let's finally talk about the diet that gives the Ophiopagus, the snake eater, its name. And this chart just lays it all out, plain and simple. I mean, look at that. A whopping 80% of its diet is other snakes. It'll snack on a lizard or a rodent if it really has to, but it is, first and foremost, a dedicated hunter of its own kind. That is a level of specialization you just don't see very often. And we're not just talking about harmless little grass snakes. No, it goes after the big guns, other highly venomous snakes like Indian cobras and kraits. So how does it do that without, dying? Well, this is where it gets really cool. It's like an evolutionary arms race. The King Cobra has developed this amazing immunity to the venom of its prey. It can take a hit from another cobra and pretty much just shake it off. Its dominance is so complete that, yeah, they're even known to be cannibals, hunting and eating other king cobras. So when it's time to hunt, the whole process is just a masterclass in efficiency. It uses that forked tongue to taste the air, following a scent trail like a bloodhound. It's got great eyesight so it can spot movement from far away. The strike is lightning fast. The venom kicks in within minutes, and then it begins the slow process of swallowing its paralyzed prey, always head first. Okay, so we've seen the weapon. We've seen its devastating power, and we've seen what it's used for. And that brings us to the final, and honestly, the most important part of this whole story. It's time to completely rethink
how we see this animal. Because here's the thing you have to remember. This is the key takeaway. For all that incredible lethal power, the king cobra wants absolutely nothing to do with people. Bites almost always happen when the snake feels trapped, when it's surprised, or when it's being cornered. That fearsome display is a warning, not an attack. And really, this quote just sums it all up perfectly. The king cobra's #1 instinct is to get away. It would much, much rather disappear into the forest than ever have a confrontation with something as big as a human. Its venom is a tool for getting food, and it's a weapon of last resort for defense. It is not a weapon of aggression. So that's what we'll leave you with. The king cobra, it's the perfect example of a creature we've slapped a monster label on, when really, it's just an incredible specialist playing its role. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? What other so-called villains of the natural world have we totally misunderstood?
You know, when you hear the name King Cobra, you don't just picture a snake, do you? The name itself brings up ideas of royalty, of power, something that just commands respect. But is that just a cool name? Or has this incredible creature actually earned its crown? Well, today, we're going to make the case. Right off the bat, let's just talk about the sheer scale of this monarch. We're looking at up to 5.5 meters. That's over 18 feet long. This makes the king cobra, without a doubt, the longest venomous snake on the entire planet. It's a presence you just can't ignore. And that size, well, it comes with some absolutely unparalleled power. We're not just talking about a deadly bite here. We're talking about a catastrophic amount of venom. A single bite, just one, has enough juice to kill 20 people. Or, get this, even a full-grown elephant. That's not just lethal. That's the stuff of legends.
But this is where our investigation gets really interesting. Is just being the biggest and the baddest enough to claim a throne? I mean, does that truly make you a king? Or does real royalty require something more? Something like intelligence, maybe some foresight, or even a sense of responsibility? Let's dig into the evidence.
Okay, Exhibit A in our case for the crown. This is something that sets the king cobra completely apart from basically every other snake out there. It's not just a predator. It's a master builder, a royal architect. And I really want to land on this point. It's not one of a few snakes that does this. It is the only one. In the entire world of serpents, this single species shows a level of parental care that is just, well, completely unheard of.
And it's a pretty complex process, too. First, the female uses her own body like a bulldozer, gathering up leaves and twigs into this two-chambered mound. Then, she lays her eggs safely in the bottom chamber. After that, she spends weeks, even months, in this fierce guard duty mode. And then, in this incredible final act of instinct, she leaves right before the eggs hatch, so she doesn't give in to her own predatory nature and eat her babies. I mean, just think about that level of dedication. For up to 3 months, she doesn't eat a thing. She just guards those future offspring with a ferocity that is legendary. She'll stand her ground against any threat, no matter how big. We're talking elephants here. This isn't just instinct. This feels like a royal duty.
So, we've got a dedicated parent and a master architect. But what's going on inside its head? Well, our second exhibit makes a pretty strong case for a level of intelligence that is nothing short of regal. You see, a wise ruler doesn't just react on impulse, right? They think, they plan, they know their domain. And the king cobra shows all of these traits. Experts have actually seen them recognizing specific people, planning out strategic hunts, patrolling a home range, and, maybe most importantly, choosing to get away rather than fight when it's not absolutely necessary. That's calculation, not just raw impulse.
Now, this part is just fascinating. We're not talking about a species of identical, instinct-driven robots here. We're talking about individuals. Herpetologists, snake experts, say that different king cobras have their own unique personalities.
That just completely shatters our typical view of reptiles as these simple creatures, right? It suggests a complexity far beyond what we usually give them credit for.
And maybe the best example of this complexity is this one incredible documented story from India. After a king cobra's mate was accidentally killed, its partner was seen following the forest ranger responsible for 12 straight days. Now, we can't know for sure if it was grief or some other complex response, but that behavior, it suggests a capacity for awareness that borders on something emotional.
All right, so intelligence is one thing, but a true ruler also has to have a voice of command. And that brings us to our final piece of evidence, the king's unique voice and its undisputed place at the very top of the food chain.
Think about it. Almost every snake on the planet warns you with a hiss. It's a sound of defense, like, hey, back off. The king cobra, it does something completely different. It lets out this low-frequency growl, almost like a dog's. That's not a plea to be left alone. That is a command. It comes from special organs in its throat, and it is designed for one thing: intimidation.
So let's put it head-to-head with some other contenders for the throne, shall we? You look at length, King Cobra wins. Venom volume? It wins. Intelligence? No contest. And that whole nest-building thing? Yeah, only one snake on that list does it. And maybe the most telling detail of all, its diet. Its diet consists of other deadly snakes. I mean, come on. It is, in every sense of the word, a king of kings.
So the case seems pretty solid, right? The king cobra is an architect, a strategist, a ruler. But like any great reign, this king's throne is, well, it's under serious threat.
Its official conservation status is vulnerable. And let's be really clear about what that means. It means that this incredible creature, this apex predator, is facing a very real, very high risk of disappearing from the wild completely. Forever.
And the threats causing this? They're all too familiar. We are cutting down its forests. We are building cities over its territory. We're hunting it for its skin and for so-called traditional medicine. And we're capturing it for entertainment. The threats are coming from all sides, and they're almost all driven by us.
And if you look at the breakdown, the numbers make the main cause brutally clear. A massive 70% of the decline comes down to just one factor. The single greatest threat to the king cobra is the destruction of its kingdom. We're taking away the one thing it absolutely cannot survive without, its home.
And here's the most profound irony in all of this. For thousands of years, in cultures all across Asia, this snake has been revered. It's been worshipped. It's associated with gods like Shiva and Vishnu. It's seen as this sacred symbol of power and divinity. We have looked at it like a god, even as we systematically destroy its world.
So after all the evidence, the title of king seems more than earned, doesn't it? But it leaves us with one final, urgent question to think about. With its forest vanishing and its throne shrinking every single day, what is a king without a kingdom?